Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of NASCAR's Lost Teams, Frank Cicci Racing. Frank Cicci Racing is a former NASCAR Xfinity Series and National Modified team that competed from 1979 through 2007. Several notable drivers made starts for the team, including Jimmy Spencer, Todd Bodine, Mike McLaughlin, David Green, Randy Lajoie, and Geoff Bodine. Frank Cicci Racing began as a short track team in the Northeast in 1979. Winning the late model division track championship at Shangri-La Speedway in 1985. That same season, they made their NASCAR debut in the Xfinity Series at Rockingham, with Jimmy Spencer behind the wheel of a number 67 Pontiac, starting 30th and finishing 19th. For the 1986 season, CC hired Spencer to drive in the NASCAR National Modified Tour, and went on to win back-to-back Modified Championships in 86 and 87. Also in 1987, Spencer and the team would make two more Xfinity Series starts, with sponsorship from Quick Stop Beverage. Their best run was at Charlotte in the spring, starting 23rd and finishing 36th. In 1988, Frank Cicci Racing decided to move up to the Xfinity Series full-time, with Jimmy Spencer behind the wheel of their number 34 Quick Stop Beverage Buick. Considering this was the team's first season in the Xfinity Series, they had a solid season, spending 25 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings throughout the season. Spencer's best start was 7th, twice, at Rougemont in the spring and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was 3rd, also twice, at Nashville and Rougemont in the spring. Overall, scoring 5 top 5s and 13 top 10s, finishing 7th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Spencer returned for the 1989 Xfinity Series season, though he only made the first 17 starts of the season in the number 34. Spencer's best start was 1st at Rougemont in the spring, and his best finish was 1st 3 times at Hickory and Rougemont in the spring, then Myrtle Beach in the summer. The win at Hickory and the pole at Rougemont was both firsts for the Frank Cicci Racing team. Overall, in 17 starts, Spencer scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 3 top 5s, and 8 top 10s. Spencer was replaced by Randy Lajoie starting at Hickory in the summer. Lajoie's best start was 5th at Dublin in the summer, and his best finish was 2nd at Hickory in the summer. In 12 starts, Lajoie scored 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. A brand new decade, the 1990s, and in 1990, Frank Cicci Racing brought in Clifford Allison to drive the number 34 Gauntlet Meets Buick for what was intended to be a full-time season. Allison struggled, DNQing twice in the first 7 races of 1990. His best start was 19th at Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was 13th at Daytona in the spring. John Young served as the team's crew chief in 1990. Following race 7 at Bristol, Cicci released Allison. Jack Sprague took over the number 34 Buick starting at race 10 at Hickory. Sprague did not find much success throughout the remainder of the 1990 season. His best start was 3rd twice, at Dover in the spring and Darlington in the fall, and his best finish was 6th at Rougemont in the spring. Overall, in 21 starts, Sprague scored 1 top 10. Sprague and Cicci parted ways at the conclusion of the 1990 season. After a few seasons of very up-and-down results, Cicci teamed up with Jeffrey and Scott Welliver starting in 1991. Todd Bodine became the team's full-time driver of the number 34 Buick. Clyde McLeod served as their crew chief for the 1991 season. Together, they found success, spending 11 weeks inside the top 5 and 29 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings throughout the season, even picking up solid sponsorship from Hungry Jack, starting at race 22 at IRP. Bodine's best start was 1st twice, at South Boston and Dublin in the summer, and his best finish was 1st at Dover in the spring. Overall, scoring 2 poles, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, finishing 7th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Glenn Sullivan also made 1 start for the team at Loudon in the fall, behind the wheel of the team's number 34 Buick, starting 16th and finishing 45th after issues with the racecar's carburetor ended his race on lap 20. Over the next couple seasons, in 1992 and 93, Bodine remained the driver of the number 34. Hungry Jack remained as sponsor for 92, and Fiddle Faddle became the team's sponsor for 93. Bodine had a couple very strong seasons, scoring 3 poles, 6 wins, 20 top 5s, and 32 top 10s, with the best points finish of 3rd in 1992. Also in 92, Bodine made both he and the team's Cup Series debut at Watkins Glen, behind the wheel of a number 34 Diet Pepsi Ford, starting 21st and finishing 37th after a lap 16 crash ended his race early. Bodine left for Butch Mock Motorsports to run in the Cup Series in 1994. Cicci hired Mike McLaughlin to drive the team's number 34 Fiddle Faddle Chevrolet starting in 1994. That first season together, they were competitive at times, though needed to find consistency. His best start was 4th 3 times, at Nazareth in the spring, then Michigan and Darlington in the fall. His best finish was third at IRP in the summer. Overall, scoring 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s, finishing 13th in final Xfinity Series point standings. McLaughlin made 2 more Cup Series starts in 1994 for the team, behind the wheel of a number 34 Coors Chevrolet. Both starts resulted in finishes in the 20s. McLaughlin would remain the driver of the number 34 for the next several seasons. The 1995 and 96 seasons, things improved. McLaughlin scored 1 pole, 1 win, 16 top 5s, and 24 top 10s, with the best points finish of third in 1995. The following season, in 1997, the team expanded to a 2-car operation. McLaughlin remained behind the wheel of the team's number 34 Royal Oak Charcoal Chevrolet full-time. Gary Cogswell served as the number 34 team's crew chief in 97. McLaughlin's best start was first, twice, at Nashville in the spring and Homestead in the fall. His best finish was first also twice, at Loudon in the spring and Watkins Glen in the summer. The number 34 team had a solid season, spending 5 weeks in the top 5 and 20 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings throughout the season. Overall, scoring 2 poles, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 14 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Xfinity Series point standings. The second entry for Frank Cicci Racing was a number 36 Stanley Tools Pontiac with Todd Bodine behind the wheel. That number 36 team had a very strong season, never dropping below second in point standings throughout the entire season. Bodine's best start was first at Hickory in the spring, and his best finish was first at California in the fall. Overall, scoring 1 pole, 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing second in final Xfinity Series point standings. They also made 1 Cup Series start with Todd Bodine behind the wheel of a number 34 Chevrolet at Watkins Glen. They sat on the pole by surprise and finished 35th after his engine failed with only a few laps to go in the race. Bodine and CC parted ways at the conclusion of the season. Again, McLaughlin returned to the number 34 Gould's Pump Chevrolet for the 1998 Xfinity Series season, finding even more success than the season prior, leading the points for 8 weeks and spending 29 weeks in the top 10 points altogether throughout the season. His best start was first, twice, at Daytona in the spring and Darlington in the fall. His best finish was first also twice, at Nashville in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, scoring 2 poles, 2 wins, 11 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing third in final Xfinity Series point standings. Matt Hutter became the new driver of the number 36 Stanley Tools Pontiac. Though following race 15 at Pikes Peak, he was released due to poor performance. His best start was third at Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was 9th at Talladega in the spring, only scoring 1 top 10 in 15 starts. David Green took over the number 36 for the rest of the season. His best start was second at Michigan in the fall, and his best finish was second at Myrtle Beach in the summer. Overall, in 16 starts, Green scored 7 top 5s and 8 top 10s. CC even expanded to a third entry in 1998, the number 30 Slim Jim Chevrolet, with Mike Cope behind the wheel, for what was intended to be a full season. Dennis Setzer began the season as the number 30 team's crew chief, though he was replaced by Donnie Richardson following race 7 in Texas. Cope's best start was 17th at Milwaukee in the summer, and his best finish was 7th at Hickory in the spring. In 17 starts, Cope scored 2 top 10s. Bodine took over for Cope starting at race 19 in California. His best start was third at South Boston in the summer, and his best finish was 4th at Bristol in the fall. Overall, in 13 starts, he scored 5 top 5s and 7 top 10s. For 1999, the team changed their name to CC Welliver Racing. Mike McLaughlin, he returned for 1 final season behind the wheel of the number 34 Gould's Pump Chevrolet. Jay Smith began the season as crew chief of the number 34, then Steve Hellwig replaced him starting at race 9 in Talladega. McLaughlin's best start was third twice at Daytona and Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was third twice at Watkins Glen in the summer and Charlotte in the fall. The number 34 team's season was solid, leading points for a week, spending 8 weeks in the top 5 and 31 weeks inside the top 10 points throughout the season. Overall, scoring 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s, finishing 9th in final Xfinity Series point standings. As for the number 36 Stanley Tools Pontiac, Tim Fedewa became the team's new driver. Vic Kangas served as the number 36 team's crew chief for the 1999 season. Fedewa had an up-and-down season in 99, having a few strong runs, but DNQing twice also. His best start was third, and his best finish was second, both coming at Pikes Peak in the summer. Overall, scoring 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s, finishing 14th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Then the third entry, the former number 30, now renumbered number 66, had Phillips 66 as their new primary sponsor. Todd Bodine returned to the team as the driver. Bodine's best start was third, twice, at South Boston and Milwaukee in the summer, and his best finish was second at IRP in the late summer. Having a solid season, Bodine overall scored 10 top 5s and 21 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Xfinity Series point standings. By the turn of the century, Frank Cicci Racing had grown into a 3-car operation going into the 2000 Xfinity Series season. David Green became the driver of the number 34 AFG Glass Chevrolet full-time. Now, all in all, David Green did a solid job with all the changes at the number 34 team's crew chief position, 4 in total throughout the season, before they settled on Steve Bird. Green's best start was second, twice, at Rockingham in the spring and Nazareth in the summer. His best finish was second at Pikes Peak in the summer. Overall scoring 2 top 5s and 11 top 10s, finishing 9th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Tim Feedaway returned to the number 36 Stanley Tools Chevrolet. Richard Laysetter served as a crew chief for the number 36 team in 2000. Again, they had bright spots, but also DNQ'd once. Feedaway's best start was first, and his best finish was first, both coming at Loudon in the spring. Overall scoring 1 pole, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 6 top 10s, finishing 18th in final Xfinity Series points. Geoff Bodine also made 1 start in the number 36 at Rockingham in the fall, starting 6th and finishing 14th. Geoff's brother, Todd Bodine, returned to the number 66 Phillips 66 Chevrolet full-time. Another solid season from Todd, spending all but 2 weeks inside the top 5 in Xfinity Series point standings. Todd's best start was first, twice, at Talladega in the spring and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first at Michigan in the fall. Overall scoring 2 poles, 1 win, 14 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Xfinity Series point standings. The team also made their 5th and their final NASCAR Cup Series start at Watkins Glen with Todd Bodine behind the wheel of a number 34 I Love New York Chevrolet, starting 43rd and finishing 42nd after his clutch failed on lap 31. The 2001 Xfinity Series season saw David Green return to the number 34 AFG Glass Chevrolet full-time. The number 34 team had a difficult season, not even scoring a top 5 finish. Green's best start was 5th at Dover in the fall, and his best finish was 6th 3 times at Texas in the spring, Pikes Peak in the summer, and Rockingham in the fall. Overall scoring 6 top 10s, finishing 13th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Hank Parker Jr. became the new driver of the number 36 GNC Livewell Chevrolet. The number 36 team went through 4 crew chief changes, and this did not allow them to find much consistency until near the end of the season. Parker Jr.'s best start was 6th at Nazareth in the spring, and his best finish was 1st at California in the spring. This was Hank Parker Jr.'s first career victory. Overall scoring 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 6 top 10s, finishing 15th in final Xfinity Series point standings. As for the number 66 Chevrolet, Tim Feedaway began the season as their full-time driver, though following race 15 at Dover, he was replaced. Feedaway's best start was 11th, twice, at Bristol and Nazareth in the spring. His best finish was 2nd at Bristol in the spring. Overall, in 15 starts, he scored 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s. Geoff Bodine replaced Feedaway in the number 66 Chevrolet for all but 1 race throughout the remainder of the 2001 season. Geoff's best start was 15th at IRP in the summer. His best finish was 4th at Richmond in the fall. Overall, in 17 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. Casey Mears made the final start of the season in the number 66 at Homestead, starting 21st and finishing 28th. Jeffrey and Scott Welliver pulled out of the race team in 2002, meaning the number 36 and number 66 were both sold. CC fielded the number 34 United States Air Force Chevrolet, with Larry Carter serving as the number 34 team's crew chief in 2002, and Stuart Kirby behind the wheel making select starts, though he was released after 8 starts. Kirby's best start was 17th at Kentucky in the summer, and his best finish was 17th at Milwaukee in the summer. Steve Grissom replaced Kirby in the number 34, but Grissom fared even worse, with a best start of 19th at Bristol in the fall and a best finish of 22nd at Richmond in the fall. For 2003, the number 34 Chevrolet was driven by Mike McLaughlin for only select starts. Les Care Kitchens was the team's primary sponsor, though they didn't pay the team. This would force the team to shut down after race 20 in Loudon. McLaughlin's best start was 16th and his best finish was 9th, both coming at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 6 starts, he scored 1 top 10. Frank Cicci Racing took the 2004 season to reorganize their team and find solid sponsorship. By 2005, they had done exactly that, fielding a number 34 Dollar General Chevrolet, with Randy Lajoie behind the wheel for 31 starts. His best start was 9th at Pikes Peak in the summer, and his best finish was 6th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 30 starts, Lajoie scored 3 top 10s and finished 19th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Todd Bodine also made 5 starts in the team's number 34 Chevrolet near the end of the season. His best start was 23rd at Kansas in the fall, and his best finish was 21st at Bristol in the fall. Several different drivers made select starts for the team's number 34 Chevrolet in 2006. Paul Tracy, Mike Bliss, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Fuller made the majority of the team's 19 Xfinity Series starts. Bliss scored the team's best start and finish at Texas in the spring, 12th for both. 2007 ended up being the final season that the team would be active. Steve Grissom made the number 34 team's first start of the season at Daytona, starting 43rd and finishing 25th. Brian Semo made 1 start at Mexico City in the spring, starting 39th and finishing 22nd. Jay Sauter made 4 starts, also for CC, including the team's final start at Nashville, starting 35th and finishing 28th. His best start was 13th at California in the spring, and his best finish was 15th at Bristol in the spring. So, in 5 NASCAR Cup Series starts, they scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 0 top 5s, and 0 top 10s. In 778 Xfinity Series starts, the team scored 13 poles, 19 wins, 134 top 5s, and 267 top 10s, with a best points finish of 2nd by Todd Bodine in 1997. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.